Hi, this is Cal Yoder with the Cal Yoder team of Keller Williams Elite. Hope you're having a great day. The question is, how much does it cost to sell my home in Lancaster, Pennsylvania? And that depends. There are several costs that you will incur in selling your home. The most standard one, if you choose to use a professional, is the commission. And that's negotiated between you and your agent. And that could be anywhere from 1 to 10%. So let's just assume that you negotiate 6% as your commission. And your home cost for sale is going to be $300,000. So your estimated commission costs in closing is going to be $18,000. Now in a typical transaction, you are going to pay the buyer's agent commission and your list agent's commission. And their two brokers in a traditional deal at 6% would share that, 3% to the buyer's agent, 3% to your list agent. So they would split the $18,000. It's a cooperative fee, and it is to your benefit to be on the MLS and to be selling your home with the most agents and the most buyers seeing it as possible. So that is your commission. Now there is no standard commission. You can negotiate that. Then you might ask the question, do I incur any taxes in the sale of my home? Well, in the state of Pennsylvania, there will be a 2% transfer tax. And this is usually shared between the buyer and seller. So 1% to the buyer and 1% to the seller. So in this case, on a $300,000 home, 1% of that is $3,000, so both the buyer and the seller will pay $3,000 as a transfer tax. Now, might you as a seller incur capital gains taxes or some kind of income tax related expense? You would need to check with your accountant to specifically learn about the details and how that may impact your own tax situation. Investment properties are more likely to be subject to capital gains taxes. So again, check with your tax professional. But you will have a 2% transfer tax unless you're selling it to a family member. And then within a family, transfer taxes are waived by the state and local municipality. Some other questions you may have is, if there's a home inspection, do I pay for that as the seller? Traditionally, you do not. The buyer selects their home inspections. That includes a whole house, a wood-destroying insect, or our vernacular we often use is a termite inspection, radon inspection, on-lot sewage system inspection, water flow and quality tests, maybe a boundary survey, those kinds of things. So those are parts of the inspections that could be requested by a buyer. And in most cases, the buyer pays for those. Now there are a couple of exceptions. If you have an on-lot sewage system, a septic system, often the septic tank will be pumped as part of the inspection. The pumping of the septic tank is traditionally incurred by the seller. The seller pays for that, and that may be anywhere from $200 to $400. Just depends on the cost for that. And you would need to check with the inspector who often does the pumping, or you can have your own company pump that. So there's that cost. And in a VA loan, the VA loan will require that the seller pay the wood-destroying insect inspection. They require that, and that cost could be anywhere from $50 to $150 depending on that inspection. Now all of these are estimates, and in individual circumstances you may find that there is an expense that I haven't spoken about, or maybe the costs differ. I'm giving you ballpark figures and their estimates. Always check with your sales professional with that. Now, possibly you also have an appraisal being done on your home as the seller. If a buyer is having a mortgage, getting a loan, then the bank is going to require an appraisal fee or an appraisal to be completed in order to get the mortgage. Now that is typically paid by the buyer. The buyer incurs that expense as part of their closing costs. What other closing costs may you have as the seller? There are a few random fees that you may have. There may be a broker fee. There may be an overnight fee to get the money to the lender to pay off the mortgage you currently have on the property. There may be a deed preparation fee. There may be a recording fee. Some of these fees, and in general, those are several $100s on top of the other expenses that I've spoken about here. Now, in one case, a buyer may ask you as a seller to assist them in their closing costs. And this is often, could be anywhere from very few $100s up to 6% of the transaction cost. So if your home is being sold for $300,000 and your buyer is asking for, say, 4% seller assist, that would be $12,000 that they would be asking that you would put towards their closing costs. Maybe they're a little short on cash, and that enables them to get in the game and purchase your home. So what you need to understand then, if you would incur that seller assist expense, you would be netting $12,000 less than the sales price. So if you had $300,000 and you were paying 4%, you would be netting really a sales price of $288,000 minus your other expenses. In order to really understand this in its best possible light, it's important that you give me a call. I can talk you through it. I can meet with you to give you a fair market analysis of your home and go over what the closing costs are going to be. So give me a call, Cal Yoder, at 717-413-0744. Thanks, and have a great day.